Hello and welcome, everybody. This is the Spirit Lounge. Every month, Gina and I are going to give you support, predictions, information, wisdom, and guidance in order to help you navigate this crazy, awesome, amazing life that we're living. So, Gina is our beautiful, wonderful psychic medium and spiritual life coach, and is going to give us psychic predictions and readings of the whole month, each month. We're going to be releasing these on the first of every month and giving you the deep insights of what's happening. I will be doing more of the astrology, the Vedic astrology or Jyotisha side of things, where I'm going to go through what's happening with the planets, what's going on in the personal and collective life as a result of these planetary positions and movements and transitions, and give you dates and times and windows of certain events that are happening and when you can harness these energies in your life. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Absolutely. So Zach is going to be focusing on the scientific part of it, of what's going on with the stars, the planets, all of that. And I'm going to give you what I feel. I'm going to tell you exactly what I see happening clairvoyantly, clairaudiently, clairsentiently. And I'm going to be diving deep into career, money, love, health, travel, whole nine yards. I'm going to give you things to watch out for, things to be excited about, and we're going to guide you on your path through this next year. So excited.
Awesome. So starting out, we'll look at the chart. Here is this Vedic astrology chart. This is in the sidereal zodiac. So it means where the stars are right now. This may be slightly different from the tropical zodiac, which you're most familiar with. Mm-hmm. So if you open up the newspaper, I'll flip open to the page and it'll say I'm a, Cancer moon or, Pisces sun. Depending on where you are in the sign, it might be shifted a whole sign. So just to give that preface, this is the sidereal Vedic zodiac. And if you're interested, I can generate a chart for you and do a reading for you from my services. So coming up, I've had it set to Aries rising. We have the first sign Aries in the center here. Mm-hmm. Uranus is in the ascendant, and we have Mars is ruler of Aries in the second house with Rahu. So this combination right here, there's a lot of, there could be scams and scandals with money happening. So, I follow some of the financial world. There's a lot of different fines happening. There's a lot of things going on in the background, a lot of the stimulus money and things behind closed doors happening. But really what I want to focus on, which is I think the most awesome thing, is Jupiter is in Capricorn and it is moving into Aquarius. So it's going to be about April 10th that Jupiter moves into Aquarius. And when it hits about 3 degrees, excuse the clicking, it'll be about the 24th, the 23rd, where it's about 3 degrees. It's settled in because the cusp is 3 degrees of each side of the sign. So it settles in Aquarius, and Aquarius is this humanitarian sign. It regards the whole world. It's the water bearer. It's the water carrier. And it's about sharing wisdom with the whole world, sharing spirituality, teaching, guidance, and supporting the whole world. So there's going to be more information spread around the world and the ability to reach more people around the world through this energy and through this activity that's going on. Now, earlier in the month, which is awesome, and it just happened, Venus entered into Pisces. So Venus is exalted in Pisces, where everything that has to do with creativity, the arts, movies, cinema, art galleries is booming, it's blossoming and blowing up. And so a big thing that's happening now in the news and will continue to happen at least for the next month and a half is what's called an NFT, or this big craze of artists who are sharing their art in a new way through technology and through the internet and able to reap the benefits and get royalties on transactions going forward. So there's a lot of awesome things happening with arts, creativity, knowledge, and wisdom being spread across the world. And Saturn in Capricorn by itself, Saturn rules Capricorn, and Capricorn is this sign of authority, of government, of rules, regulations, and doing the right thing, taking its time. So there's a lot of things in terms of the reorganization of society that's happening where we are going to have a better foundation to walk forward with versus the previous more difficult, or you could say discombobulated people in command who were leading things that didn't have the maybe they didn't have the best interests at heart, or they weren't taking their time to go through every little detail that needed to be gone through. So that's happening now and will continue to happen in this year. And that is our general read for April and a little bit of a taste of the year coming up.
I love all of that because that goes so hand in hand with what I am feeling with things. Okay. So this is so what you were talking about with career and like people coming out and doing amazing things with their own new creativity and social media and television is exactly what I'm feeling on the career home front. So it's like leadership is coming in and the people that are meant to be in the public eye are being pushed into the public eye. And this is all across the board. This is not just television and movies and social media. This is like even people in corporate world that are meant to be in leadership, that are meant to lead bigger groups. The leaders are being pushed away from the pack. Okay, so that is what is happening on the career home front. The people that are meant to lead are going to lead. They're going to be pushed to lead, and you all are not going to have any choice in the matter because you are meant to be that person. And if you're sitting there like, oh gosh, this is me, it's you. And if you're sitting there being like, oh, I hope it's not me, it's not you. Okay, so that looks really good. On the money home front, there are so many things being maneuvered with money that are going to set you up for success in the future. But stop spending so much money. Okay. Like this is the time to really look at your money game and save where you need to save, purchase where you need to purchase. But as far as money, it's like, stop just like shoveling out money to anybody and everything. So I feel like there was a big purge with money in the past 30 days of like, I'm free, I get to do whatever I want. And now you're like, but wait, what about this debt over here? So you need to look at your money game, look at exactly where you want your money to go, because there's a ton of money getting to come your way in April. And I want to say towards the end of April, big money is coming your way, big things are coming your way, especially like with these career advances that I'm seeing. So it's like, be very intentional where you want your money to go. Okay. So watch where it's going, see where it's going, be intentional there. And then love. So this is also the big thing that's showing up for love in April. A lot of soulmate connections, a lot of twin flame connections, and then also a lot of karmic things coming to an end. So that was happening at the tail end of March, which is transpiring and mirroring its effects in April. So it's like between April and going into May, a lot of stuff will be cleared out karmically in your heart. So if you've been healing from a past relationship, magic wand, you will be healed. You will move out of that healing effect. You will move out all of those karmic relationships and then really settle into your own in April. And lots of soulmates and twin flames will be coming together in April for love. Now, as you're going into traveling, there's going to be almost like, I want to go out and see the world. I want to go out and do anything and everything, but you feel like this invisible wall in front of you. And that wall will shift. There'll be an opening in the beginning of April. And then there'll be a wall again in mid-April, and then it'll open back up. So if you feel like, oh my God, I feel so free, and oh my God, I feel so trapped, and oh my God, I feel so free, that's the energy that I'm feeling with travel in April. April's going to bring a new energy as far as traveling goes too. It's going to be intentional travel. There's going to be great intention. Like, I'm going to go on this trip for self-healing. I'm going to go on this trip for a romantic getaway. I'm going to go on this trip to replenish my energy. There's going to be intention around the travel. It's not going to just be like, I'm traveling because I'm traveling. This month, there's intention with that. Now, as far as the leadership goes, Zach touched on this a little bit. Now, if you tuned into my YouTube channel and watched my yearly predictions, you saw that my yearly predictions as far as the royal family came true. And with this also, with leadership, and it's not just the president. This is leadership across the board of not having the greater intentions involved. So if this is bosses, leadership, above them, this is anybody that's in a leadership role that does not have the best intentions in your life. Okay, all across the board, these people will be shifted, examined, looked at, and almost like you see them for who they are, and then you also see a different perspective of the person in leadership. They become humanized. They, if you don't like your boss, you'll see them in a different perspective to where you understand them more. Compassion towards the leadership roles will be given because you see this opposite side of them. You see them exposed for their good traits and their bad, but then also this compassion comes forward with it. So April as a whole is going to be a really big month, but karmically, everything's shifting out that needs to shift out karmically, and everything that's coming in is coming in dharmically. So dharma is your life purpose, and karma is the cause and effect. So karma going out, dharma coming in. April looks amazing. Can't wait for it.
That was amazing, Gina. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like, with your predictions of seeing the planets and then my predictions of, times and events of happening, like it's the perfect pair. It's the perfect combo.
It's beautiful because both of us are reading energy. It's just the method in which we're getting to that reading is a little different. And so, you don't have to learn all the science of the stars and things, but you sense and feel that through your abilities and gifts and get to the same points. So I think that's such a beautiful way to get that double confirmation and reinforce these readings for people.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach. Now, tell us a little bit about what you know about the spirit chair.
So the spirit chair?
So spirit chair, you guys, is a thing that I teach every single one of my clients. Every single one of anybody that knows me knows that I have a spirit chair. And I know Zach does also. So tell me what you know about the spirit chair.
So the spirit chair is, I think it's a very intentional created space that you make sacred. You choose to dedicate this one space, whether it's a meditation pillow or a comfy chair next to a side table, but some space where you intentionally meditate, you gain awareness, you invite spirit in to communicate with you, to give you messages. If you have relationships with guides and angels and spirits, you can directly talk to them and create a space where that's where they talk to you. That's where they get loud and clear.
100%. That's like so well said. I love the way that you explain that. So basically, you guys, spirit chair is a chair that you set up in your home that no one else is going to sit in. It is your space. No one else sits in it. It's your space, your boundaries set up so that when you sit down in your spirit chair, your guides and angels know, oh, okay, Zach's ready to work. Oh, okay, Gina's ready to work. So you're going to set up a chair in your house. You're going to choose a space that no one else can access this chair. Okay. Now, for those of you who have crazy children or crazy significant others, I know that this can be hard, but I assure you, you can put a chair in a closet. You can put a chair in a bathroom. You can close that door, but choose a space that you can set a chair and a small table, enough room for a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and a journal. So you're going to have your chair and your little table. You're going to set it up in a space where you can close the doors and be alone. And then, this is my favorite thing. You're going to go around your house and you're going to pick all of your favorite things up. And then you're going to take those favorite things and you are going to put them all around your spirit chair. You can put them on the table, you can put them on the floor, you can have a little shelf, do whatever you want, but have your most favorite possessions around you, because those things have good energy. They promote good energy, and they'll make you feel really nice and at home when you're in your spirit chair. Then you're also creating natural boundaries with this. When you're creating natural boundaries, that means that when you sit in the chair, your guides and angels know that it's time for them to communicate with you. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about like, oh my gosh, I was out in the grocery store and I kept on getting all these messages for everybody around me. Who wants that? I just want to get my grocery shopping done, right? Like, I don't want to be bombarded. So this sets up perfect boundaries. Okay. So your added lesson is for the next 30 days or for the next month, you're going to sit in your spirit chair with your journal and your cup of coffee or cup of tea. And you're going to select a time that you can sit in this chair by yourself. And whether it be in the morning or the evening, I say one or the other. And you're going to set your timer for 10 minutes and you're going to get on YouTube and listen to healing frequency music on YouTube. And you're going to sit there for 10 minutes a day for the next month. And then this will build up for our next lesson of being able to communicate with your spirit guides, with your angels, and be able to have that connection and that relationship. And in doing that, you will then feel safe, content, connected, and feel like, you know, that feeling that something is missing. 9 times out of 10, that's spirituality. So that will help fill that void for you. And anytime you feel crazy, or anytime you feel exhausted, or anytime you feel anxious, or anything other than perfect, you can sit in that spirit chair, listen to healing frequency music, and then come back down and feel good about things. So do you have anything else you want to add about the spirit chair, Zach, or any rituals that you want to add in?
So I think this foundation is the perfect place to start. I think that having, if you like incense, to burn a little bit of incense, change the smell of the space. That changes the energy of the space. And right before you sit, that's a great thing you can do. And even after also. So if it's just, burn a little bit of some white sage or Palo Santo or your favorite incense, that could be a great way to set the stage, because as you create different types of sensory signals or cues, that will help you deepen the experience and drop right into it more frequently. So as you're developing this, if you always have this type of tea or this coffee and you sit at this time of day and you smell this specific thing, those all will help reinforce your focus in this space and amplify what you receive.
I love that, which also just reminded me of the Spirit Spa. So I own a wellness center in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's called the Spirit Spa, a spa for your spirit. And we have a signature scent in our diffuser, and we use lemongrass. And everybody always compliments, oh my God, I love how fresh and how amazing it smells in here. And it's like everybody knows that when they walk in, they always smell lemongrass. They always smell that same scent. So it drops them in. See, I didn't even know what I was doing. And it drops them into that spiritual sanctuary to where they're ready to be open. They're ready to get a reading. They're ready to have their spiritual experience when they walk in. I love that.
That's
I love
beautiful.
that. That's so special.
It really touches into that science of NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming,
Yes.
where you do anchoring. This is a big like Tony Robbins thing where he will, or anybody who practices this, they'll take you into a deep meditative state. You will recall a specific feeling and emotion. You will deeply embody that, and then you'll touch a specific spot on your body. I have one, like I'll just flick the edge of my finger, and it reminds me of this time it was at my favorite music festival, and it's just beautiful, happy feeling. And I had one of the best moments of my life, and I recall that when I flick my finger, and then I get that feeling in my body. I get the tingles, I get the sensation, and that helps pick me up. And that's one little nugget or little way that you can You can train yourself like Pavlov's dog. The dog would start salivating every time you hit the bell because it thought food was going to come,
Mhm.
right? So you can do that to yourself intentionally with positive things. And a word of caution is we also can do that to ourselves unintentionally with not positive things, negative things that bring us down, or every time we're sad, we listen to this one song and then it gets us sadder and then it reminds us of the
Yeah.
sadder things. And that's a cascade of sadness that we can become aware of and realize,
Mhm.
oh, like I didn't even realize I was doing that. And I
Mhm.
can just pick something else, pick a different emotion to aim at and push towards. And that's how you gain control of your life. This is one of the little small ways we can take control, start driving the car instead of being stuck in the back seat to our emotions and our
Mhm.
people in our lives and being a victim. And I mean, the victim is like being tied up in the trunk.
Right? Yes, absolutely. So, something that Zach and I both live by is living a spirit led life, but also living a positive life. And we both are masters of our own emotions and masters of our own energy. And nothing is funnier to me than hearing people call someone else an energy vampire, because I laugh because it gives your power away. And it's like, oh, that person is an energy vampire. No, girl, no, boy, you're giving your energy away. No one can suck the energy out of you. Okay. So that's lesson number 2, spirit chair. And lesson number 2, there are no energy vampires. You are the master and the creator of your own domain. You control your energy, you control your vibe. And this is a great segue in how to control your vibe, how to keep your vibe high so that you stay a positive person, so that you can really, live a wonderful, happy life. And starting with the spirit chair is the number one way of keeping your vibe up. Taking 10 minutes a day for yourself to sit and relax and listen to healing frequency music automatically raises your vibe. Another way that can raise your vibe is getting out in nature or listening to music, or listening to music out in nature. So, those are quick ways of raising your vibe, and having the tools to switch your thought process. So we all have heard the train of thought, right? And that train of thought can keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Well, is it a positive train, or is it like just coasting, or is it an uphill train? If you're on an uphill train where it's like, going up and up and up, a way that you can do that is switching that negative thought. So if you're having a negative thought, one school of learning is just switch it to a positive thought. Just like totally disregard that thought, switch it to a positive one. Or if you're more analytical and you need to process, you can write down that negative thought. Then you can say, okay, what is the silver lining of that negative thought? Then you can honor the silver lining and give gratitude to the silver lining. And then once you switch over to gratitude, it's like, what was I upset about? It's that thought process. How do you switch around a negative thought process, Zach?
I think of a big lesson from Abraham Hicks of
Mm,
understanding that there's a emotional scale, and there are certain feelings that are adjacent to, if depression is right next to like frustration or anger, you know, anger could be a higher vibration, not that it's, the ideal one, but that can be something that gets you unstuck from depression, for
mhm,
example. And so the the art and skillfulness can be in becoming able to jump from, you know, nothing is good, this all sucks, whatever negative vibration, into gratitude, into appreciation, into being able to go on an appreciation frenzy and appreciate everything that enters your experience, every thought, every
mhm.
person, every piece of food, all of your belongings.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, but making that leap can feel difficult for some people at times. So taking baby steps could look like, okay, what's the next best thing?
Yeah.
Okay, if being depressed isn't that great, maybe I could just shift closer to being like neutral. And then from neutral, what can I get to? I can get like a little inspiration, a little tingle. And then from that little inspiration, I can move up to being excited, and then being ecstatic, and then totally pure joyful, and just climbing you up that ladder bit by bit. So going from 0 to 60 in one single leap can be difficult for some people, especially at the beginning, but it's definitely possible. And it's even easier as you do this more often. So if you're feeling like gratitude is millions of miles away from me right now, then start with what's right next to you. Start with the next step up, and have that intention to be moving up and becoming happier and happier and lighter. Because if you're, in Abraham Hicks, it's like going for upstream thoughts. If you're trying to push upstream constantly, then you're going to keep finding resistance. Well, what's a downstream thought? What's an easier thought? What feels natural? What's the easiest next step?
Yeah.
And going through that line of thought could be a really great way of walking around the scenic route instead of going the A to B straight route.
I love that so much, because finding that next best feeling, and even if you're not a beginner at this, even if you're not a beginner and you're like a ride or die, like I'm a ride or die manifester, I'm a ride or die positive thinker. But sometimes I get on a negative train of thought and I'm just having a crappy day. And I'm like, I cannot shake this feeling. I can't do it. I've done all the tools. And what helps me shift is just taking my awareness either to the next best thought, or something that I've been playing with is redirection. So if I'm having like the world's worst day, everything's going horrible, or like everything's fine, but in my mind it's not, because our mind just does that sometimes. Like everything's fine, nothing has changed. But in my mind, I'm like screaming inside. If I'm in one of those modes, which doesn't happen often, but it does, let's be real. The best thing for me is redirection. And just like with depression, when you're depressed, if you can focus on someone else, it's nearly impossible to be depressed if you can focus on someone else, because depression is an internal feeling and, and sometimes chemical. If you can redirect, it helps. So if I'm in the thick of the mud, I will call a friend, call a family member, focus on what's going on in their life. And it takes me out of my head and focuses on something else, because emotions, we have emotions. We are not our emotions. And so if we can just redirect our thought process to something different, by the end of the 20-minute phone call, you're like, what was I upset about again? What was I thinking again? Oh, that's not so bad. You ride the wave. So it's all very interesting and I love it. And so I think that this is such a good thing to start with for our first 30 days, and really starting in with April, with all of the changes and the planets and the stars and Jupiter and all of that going on, like sitting our booties in our spirit chair, learning how to ground down. That's our foundation for all of the rest of the things to come. So if you have thoughts, ideas, questions, reach out to us. You can book a reading with me at ginajulianscarpino.com. I do readings, spiritual life coaching, mentoring on spiritual gifts. And then Zach and I, we have a group on Facebook called the Spirit Mob. And it's modern, optimistic badasses. It is an awesome group. We have tons of mediums in there giving readings, talking about energy and crystals and auras and everything spiritual. It's awesome. And then, Zach, what's your info?
So you can find me at goodagainhealing.com. Also on Facebook and Instagram, Good Again Healing. And I do Ayurvedic consultations, so giving you a full physical assessment through the Ayurvedic model, this holistic ancient Indian health system, Vedic astrology, tarot cards, and personal life coaching. So You can just book me right away. And even if you want just a free 10-minute call to talk about what your needs are, and we can find what's the right service for you. What are you needing right now, and help you out.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I hope you guys have a fantastic April. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Bye-bye.
See ya later.